Asia's push to lead in green and digital innovation faces fractured supply chains and geopolitical divides. Can ambition outpace division? The 2025 Boao Forum tackles these challenges head-on, with Australian strategist Dr. Digby James Wren charting a path forward, turn dialogue into infrastructure, scale China's innovation engine, and unlock financing for AI and green tech. With RCEP and ASEAN as anchors, he advocates unified markets, seamless data flows, and grassroots partnerships. But in a world of tariffs and fragmentation, can multilateralism still prevail? Boao's answer: trust-driven progress where talk becomes tomorrow. Next, Dr. Digby on bridging promises and progress.
The Boao Forum is a really great platform, specifically for Asia, Southeast Asia, and translating policy discussions like Boao into actionable initiatives is not necessarily an easy thing to do, but it drives economic impact. The things that are really important at the moment are, turning dialogue into action is the key. And institutionalizing the follow-up mechanisms, working groups, converting ideas into blueprints, but, developing permanent bodies. Scalability is another thing. I think that's very important, getting things at speed and scale, really the hallmark of China's innovation. The Boao Forum enables a platform to be able to do that. And so I'd like to see more innovation models that can be applied to different countries. So, for example, to Pakistan, to Cambodia, to Malaysia, Indonesia, etc., Vietnam. And mobilizing finance. I think, finance is another area where there's not really enough input, and it's difficult to get contacts that you need at the right time for financing. And then probably the last one is prioritizing digital and green. And I think that's really key. China's leading in that area globally, and I'd like to see that being pushed or supported more strongly right across all of the partner countries in Asia.
But progress demands more than ambition. It needs armor. From Cambodia's logistic bottlenecks to Indonesia's rail breakthroughs, Asia's supply chains are rewriting resilience. Dr. Digby cuts to the core: strengthen access, unify systems, prioritize stability. Now he tackles the trillion-dollar question: how do we future-proof growth in a fragmented world?
Intermediate goods, and especially Chinese intermediate goods, need to have clearer access into those new nearshoring supply chains. That's important. Resilience of the supply chains is clearly going to have to be strengthened, and prioritizing that. For example, for some countries like Cambodia is still very difficult, but there is some bright spots here. The Laos-China Railway, Indonesia's railway in Jakarta to Bandung, that's an up. Geopolitical fragmentation is very, very problematic. That fragmentation is really caused by pressure that's being caused by mostly the United States and Europe, although China is in the greatest level of stability for Southeast Asia, for Central Asia, and right across Asia.
Resilience is being built rail by rail, policy by policy. But as supply chains stabilize, a tougher test looms. Can Asia's economic alliances outpace geopolitical divides? Dr. Digby shifts focus to the rules of engagement. Inclusive multilateralism isn't optional, it's survival. From RCEP's unifying power to battling digital balkanization, he charts a path where Huawei bridges ASEAN and where Boao becomes the ultimate toolkit. Now he unveils the strategy: how multilateral frameworks turn fractures into footholds.
Inclusive multilateralism is the way to go here. Boao needs to concentrate on the ones that we do have. The networks that are already in place, like ASEAN, RCEP, that's perfect, into Central Asia and with the existing economic blocks. And also then the regional ones with partners in Africa and South America and so forth. Reduce the fragmentation, and it'll create a more unified market, for example, especially a clear winner for this because it's the biggest trading partner for China, that's obvious. And that RCEP is also providing a positive kind of force, magnetic force, if you like, and it's good for the Australians and the New Zealanders and the Japanese and the South Koreans. Companies in China like Huawei and Xiaomi and others, they can all be involved in better governance, I think, communication governance, data sharing governance. That needs to be looked at fairly close. We don't want a balkanization of all these ASEAN countries just because, they don't want to connect to their storage systems. We need a toolkit for that, I suppose. Boao would be a very good way to set up a toolkit for doing that.
Asia's future hinges on three pillars: speed, scale, and solidarity. From the Laos-China Railway to RCEP's game-changing sway, Dr. Digby's playbook is clear. Turn debate into bridges, turn friction into frameworks, turn divisions into drive. This isn't about trade spats. It's about rewriting the rules. From Huawei's digital leaps to grassroots grit, Boao is Asia's ultimate toolkit. The race isn't against rivals, it's against the clock. And the finish line, a world where shared futures aren't just debated, they are built.